welcome to The Pulse. I hope you're doing well. I'm your host, Julie, and in today's episodes, I just wanted to do a bit of a reflection, making it a bit easier. I'm on holiday, so I want to make this one a bit shorter as well, because holiday is meant for rest. As I shared at the very beginning of the introduction of the very first episode, I want to make sure that this is regular, that I do it in a way like the pulse of the heart, so it's remain constant, and therefore for me it was still very important to release an episode next Sunday. So I'm currently on Monday recording, but I also want to make sure that I take the time for myself, as it is a week off, and that I recharge. So I want to make sure that it's not a long episode, that I'm able to edit it quite quickly. That doesn't mean the quality would not be good, but I just want to make sure that I also take care of myself. And it's a bit actually the subject of today's episodes. I read a book. I'm currently finishing reading a book it's a French book, so it's called Breathe, and it's not a self-help book. It is in some ways, but it's through an actual story. So the author is really talking about a man and what he's going through. So it's really like a novel type of books, but in a way it helps you also reflect along. And through that book so far, I feel like I've heard a few things that I would like to share with you and to exchange, and maybe that inspire you a little bit as well, as we are already in October actually, and it's the time a little bit, like it gets cozier, so you stay a bit more inside, so we can also take the time to slow down a little, to enjoy a bit differently. Every phase of the year can have a different type of enjoyment, and I would really like to have that reflection session with you today. At the very beginning of the book, actually, the main character meets a Thai woman that is much older but also wiser, and in there at some point she asked him to reflect on what his past has brought him. And I think this is a good start, because there is a lot that can happen in your life that can be negative, that could potentially you would not see as something that has brought something positive or has brought anything into your life. But at the end of the day, I do believe, and it took me a while, that every single situation, everything that happened to you, it's not that there is a reason, but can bring you something. And I think this is a bit different. We always say, like, I always hear people saying, there is a reason why this happens to you. And for someone like me who had cancer, it's very difficult, because I felt so angry for so long in terms of like, why do I have this? Why does this happen to me? I do not deserve this in a way. And I don't think anyone deserves cancer, but in a way, it's maybe switching the narrative. This is what the book is also like telling you, and more like what has almost like cancer in my case, but you can take any kind of situation. If something hard happened to you, or if you had to do a change, whatever topic, whatever happens into your life, try to turn it around into what it brings to you. And for me, one of the things that it brought me is to change some of the direction I had in my life. And at the beginning, it was forced in a way on me. But along the way, I also learned to better reflect, better think about what I do, instead of just going full on, okay, this is my career path, this is how I'm going, this is what I'm doing, go, without having this moment of like, is it really what I want to do? Is it really the direction I want to take? And this reflection and the fact that I'm now always thinking about it has brought some burden. I have to say, an extra burden on my shoulder. Before, it felt almost easier. It was just like, okay, I follow the path that I think is the one I determined from the beginning almost. When now it's like every time I take a step, or every time I'm thinking of something, I tend to reflect and be like, is it really the steps I want to take? Have I really thought this through? And this can be also challenging. So for example, with this podcast, I decided, and there was my pure decision based on everything that happened to me and what it had brought me, that I wanted to share my thoughts, my knowledge. I don't know, we'll see how many people listens, but I wanted to share with people. And that came in a way also from what happened to me from cancer, but also from my lifelong journey with sports, with my career, and also all the negative things that happen. And along this story and this the future episodes, you'll hear more. And it's not because I will talk about negative stories that it has to be like, oh, poor me. It's more, this is from what I've learned from this. So to help you not replicate it, or to help you already have that some knowledge that I didn't have at the time that it happened. That's a little bit how I decided to do this podcast. And this came from all my past experience. So it has a lot of positivity, but it's because in that case, like, I thought it through. But as I was saying, even when I started it, at some point, I was like, is it really the direction I want to take? And this constant challenge that I put on myself can still be hard, but I'm aware of it, and I take it also as part of my journey. So this was the first question that he was asked in the book, and I think it would be good for anyone. And I'm also, I put it in my little notebook. I always have a notebook in my bag, in my purse. And basically what I'm planning to do is to try to put it on paper, everything that happened, not just the main events, not just, I have like 3-4 events that I would say are more dramatic in some ways, but maybe these are not the only one that can go. And what have they taught me, what have changed in the path that I took. I know there will be more, and how is this going to impact me is also critical. The second question that she was asking in the book, she was asking the man, is what is the way you could use your past and what has brought you to inspire others? And I think this is also a very valuable question, which in a way, I feel like I've already done that for me, but it's also important to know what does this means, because it doesn't mean that you have to inspire others, you have to inspire the world. You can sometimes also inspire one other person with your story, with what your past has taught you. It can be used for one other person or multiple people, but reflecting also of how what you've learned can help others in a way. And this is something that I truly believe in, that we should help one another. I do understand that it's not easy for everyone, but I would also fully advise you to do that similar reflection. And it's not automatically to make it upfront to the world, everything that happened to you, or to broadcast it in any way. But it's also to think, okay, has this part of my past, whatever it is, what this had brought me, and can I help someone else not to have to go through the same thing in a way? And that can sometimes be one person. Really think about this, but I thought this part already was quite useful as an overall reflection. And I think this is really a good time of the year. We are winding down. It's close to Christmas. Ooh, going too fast, but I love fall season. But I would say, yeah, maybe it's a good time to reflect. And I'm also, it's not fall right now where I am. I'm on holiday, so I have still like summer feels. But I would definitely advise you to have those moments of reflection. One thing by looking into what your past brought you is also allowing you time to first kind of rest for a bit and think about it, then reflect basically on, for example, how you took a certain situation. And I can tell you there are plenty for me where at the moment where I took them and the way I viewed them were automatically quite negative. But I know that it's okay. But at the same time, now I reflect, and the fact that I took it that way also allowed me and taught me something, and it's allowing me to reclaim my story. I cannot change the way I react at the moment when I reacted, right? I cannot rewrite the past, but I can reclaim my story in terms of what did that bring me. I give you a simple example. Imagine I lost all my grandparents, and I'll give you the simple one. The first time I lost one of my grandparents when I was in the US, and I could not go back home. It was very difficult. It was the first time I was losing one of my grandparents, because the only others that I lost was before I was born. So it was a big shock. It was very emotional for me, and I had to deal with the emotions, but also afterwards, this really, the way I felt for weeks, for months, made me decide, only because I was in I was emotional like a normal person. I'm not saying it was that I couldn't live or couldn't do anything, but it was one of the reasons that made me decide to go home. And you could see it in a way of like, okay, I lost my grandpa, and because I lost my grandpa, I was so upset. I had to go home. So it's because of the loss. So it's a negative impact. It's like this affected me so much that it impacted all my other decisions. But the other way I can view it was like, okay, he had an amazing life. Yes, I was heartbroken when he passed away, but because I was heartbroken, it taught me how important for me it was to be there, to be closer to my grandparents or to my remaining two grandmas for the remaining time they were there. And therefore, while I was so happy to be abroad, and my grandpa and my grandmas and both of them, everyone was so happy for me to live abroad and to be far away, I decided for myself that I wanted to go home, to experience it differently, to be closer to family for a certain period of time. That doesn't change the fact that I moved again, but it allowed me the time to figure out how I wanted to live and how I wanted to handle the next couple of years with my remaining two grandmas. And that was really something that has impacted me. And while I could focus on the negative, I lost my grandpa in the worst possible time, a couple of months before graduation. It was horrible. But I can also be like, okay, yes, it was horrible at the moment when it happened and for the next few months, but it allowed me to be even closer to my grandmas for the remaining time. And I was already close to all my grandparents, but I just wanted to give you that example. And I think this is the part that I'm still struggling with the book that I'm reading, is I think it's very difficult when something bad happens to you to think it in a positive way. Maybe the little problem on a day-to-day, maybe you can already switch your mind. Was it teaching me? For example, I'm on holiday, it's raining on day 2. So was it teaching me and to take it positively, to not being like, oh, I wish I had a sunny day and getting upset. So I'm learning from that. But when it's such a big experience like this, like a loss or something else, it's difficult not to take it negatively at the beginning. And I think it's hard to think, oh, there is a reason for it, or let's see what it teach me. But long term, I think you can find a way to take the learning out of it and to figure out how has this changed you, or what had this brought you, and that allow you to reclaim your story. It's important to have those moments of reflection in order to reclaim your story, that is not only about the negative moment, but about like those negative moments brought me somewhere. And I'm not saying that it's easy, because I have still moments today where I get upset to what happened in my life. I still struggle, and this is why literally reading this book has been a bit healing, or part of my healing journey, and I'm far from finished. But I just wanted to share, as I am in the process, I just wanted to share with you what I've seen and what I've read so far, because I don't want to wait until I'm finishing to read a book, or I don't want to wait until I've read like 10 books or done the whole reflection to share with you my thoughts. I thought it was important for me to do it already today. The next part of the book that I thought was good, and as I said, I didn't finish, so I'm pretty sure there was more learning in it. So that's I don't know if I'll put the clip on social media, but in case I do, I'm showing the book. But one other reflection that for me was very interesting is how they mention in there your body acts in order to show you and give you alerts. And in a way, if like we know that with reflexology, your feet may hurt somewhere, and that has a relation in some part of your body. But in another level, also your body being hurting somewhere or acting a certain way. So I don't know if you have a rash, or if you have also sometimes like some headaches or different things, usually is a way to show you that something is wrong. It's an alert mechanism. And I'm the first one who didn't see fast enough what my body was telling me. And I'm pretty sure my body still tells me a lot of things. But I think it's also a good time now to think about, how is my body feeling? Can I do, a physical check? Do I have any pain anywhere? Am I sleeping okay? Is my rhythm fine? How is my body aching in the morning? Am I feeling tense? When I'm feeling tense, when is it happening? Also, depending on that, I can learn that maybe there are some phases in the day or in my life where I am more tense, or my body is reacting in a different way, and potentially it's telling me something, and I won't have all the answers. Sometimes it's a physical reaction 1 minute and then you're fine again. But usually it's good to reflect in terms of what is your body telling you, because usually your body will tell you first when something is wrong. And I have multiple cases, and I'll take the simple one. When I am heavily stressed, I start to have my stomach feeling crampy, and I really feel like I'm gonna throw up. And I'm sure I'm not the first person who has that. Like, there's moments of worry, of stress, where you have such reaction. So it's literally your mind is in a place and it's not feeling okay, and your body is reacting to it, and your body is telling you, okay, you're not feeling good, so you need to take care of yourself. And this is a moment where you have to think, okay, what can I change? How can I interact better? How can I remove that stress? But you have to focus on that. If you try to not take care of that stress, then it's going to get worse. So for me, I'll give again a very simple example. I know that before I go to the hospital, I'm usually more stressed. So my stomach is going to feel like a knot. I won't be able to eat, and it's going to get worse, and I'm going to cramp because I didn't eat. So there is a whole rhythm that comes. And what I've started to do in the last few years is to do some deep breathing exercise, do a bit of meditation, making sure I eat, even though I struggle, to still take small bites, to make sure I still feel my body properly. And then I try to acknowledge how I'm feeling, acknowledge the stress and where it's coming from. And then I try to take some breathing time along the way. So the stress isn't going to be gone in 2 minutes. So I might do one exercise and then let it go and see how I'm feeling, and then do it again. I will also bring a book at the hospital in order for me to not think too much about it. And usually my body will feel much better along the hours until I'm out of there. And this is, again, I would really advise you right now to take the opportunities in the next few weeks to take care of that and look into what is your body telling you. And I hope your body is telling you you're doing super good. But usually we all, as human beings, deal with a lot of things and a lot of moments that potentially create stress or create worries, or potentially something is wrong in our body, and it's important to be aware. So this is basically today's episodes, and I know it might be a bit scattered, but overall there is 2 pieces, right? You need to have a moment for yourself to pause, to reflect, and then to reclaim yourself. That's really the objective. And you can view it, as I said, in two ways, or 2 pieces that you can do. The first one is looking at your past, what happened to you, also potentially having a moment to reflect on what happened might help you better understand potential body ache, etc. So there is a link also between the 2. But the first one is looking at, from your mind standpoint, what you viewed as negatively, to reflect on it and then to reclaim your story. And then the next part, as part of your pause that you should do at the beginning and really to take the time, is when you reflect. The first one is the mind, as I said. The second one is on your body. How is your body feeling? And do you have any ache, any problems, in order for you to better understand what's wrong? And same thing here, it's about reclaiming your body and reclaiming your health. and your physical and mental health through this two steps. I know it was a bit maybe messier than usual. I think it also took me some time to find the overall process of where I was going with this chat, because I'm still going through the journey, and I'm sure there is even more to this pause, reflect, reclaim. But at the moment, I think the first part that I will be focusing on is really those two. So reflect, pause, because pause is critical, but also reflect on my past and how negative events have impacted me and how can I reclaim it, and focus and reflect on how my body is feeling. I hope you liked it. I know, as I said, it was a lot shorter today. It was also a lot different than usual, as it was maybe disorganized. But I also told myself that it was okay, for one, to have a disorganized episode and less structured, and to just let it flow and it come as it is. I wish you a very nice day. Please subscribe, like, comment. Tell me what you also do for yourself in order to fuel your mind and to help you not only grow, but also ensuring that your mental health and your physical health are all doing good. And I wish you all a very nice day or evening, if it is. Talk to you soon. Bye.